ஒன் வேர்டு ஆன்சர் கொடுக்கும்போது பேருக்கும் இல்லைங்க சார், கண்டினியூஸாக பேசணும்.
ஓகே, இப்போ ஏதாவது பிரேக் ஆச்சுன்னா எனக்கு இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுங்க, ஓகேவா? இப்போ கரெக்டாக ஓகேவா?
எஸ் சார்.
ஓகே. ஸோ ஏதாவது பிரேக் ஆச்சுன்னா இமீடியட்டாக எனக்கு இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுங்க. ஓகே, ஐ திங்க் it started recording. So I have to take the attendance. Okay, whether my screen is visible to everyone. If you're having any problem regarding my audio and also video, please let me know. So the problem is chimney problem. We are discussing about the chimney problem. Uh, so in all section of solids, we have removed the top portion, particularly the portion available above the section plane. So we have removed the particular portion that is available exactly above the section plane. Okay, so in chimney problem, we have to remove the bottom portion. Okay, then only the cylinder will look like a chimney. Particularly, it is a hollow cylinder, but we will not discuss about the hollow cylinder. Okay, we will discuss about only a solid cylinder. Okay, so hollow, the difference between hollow and solid is that there will be a hole inside the cylinder, that is called a hollow cylinder. Okay, so I think this one we have discussed about this particular problem. So in this problem, the questions will look like a different one, because please look at this dimension, the vertical chimney of 70 centimeter. So look at this, it is 70 centimeter, not millimeter. Okay, you have to be very cautious while looking the unit. So in our previous conditions, we have discussed about only mm, that is called millimeter. Okay, so here it is 70 centimeter. So we can't able to create a diagram with the dimension of 70 centimeter. Okay, so 70 centimeter diagram draw பண்றதுக்கு possible இல்லை. So what is our next step? We have to use the scale method. Okay, so far now we have discussed about only scale 1:1 concept, that is called if it is 70 mm, we will be creating a diagram with the dimension of 70 mm. Okay, so for this kind of problem, actually we have to follow the scale concept. That means we have to reduce the dimension. So we are going to use reducer scale. Okay, so if it is a smaller dimension like 5 mm diameter அந்த மாதிரி இருந்துச்சுன்னா, we have to enlarge the diagram. So we have to use the enlarger scale. So here we have to use the reducer scale concept. And also with it, there is no need of reducing this degree. Okay, so we have to look only the dimensions. So எல்லா dimensions நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும், ப்ராப்பரா ரெடியூஸ் பண்ணணும். Like if you are converting 70 centimeter into 70 millimeter, then you have to convert this 32 centimeter into 32 millimeter. Okay, so that is what our concept. So here these are the scale calculation. So you have to mention this scale calculation in the problem. Okay, so it is very important, you have to mention the scale calculation. So in this diagram, I have used a scale 1:20. Okay, so the reason behind this is we can convert this 1 centimeter into 20 centimeter. So that means instead of 20 centimeter, you can create a diagram with a dimension of 1 centimeter. Okay, so if it is like this, then we can convert this 70 centimeter into 3.5 centimeter. So what is called 3.5 centimeter? That is equal to 35 millimeter. So 1:20 is the ratio. So 20 centimeter, 1 centimeter நீ யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். Similar to that, 70 centimeter is equal to 3.5 centimeter. So that is equal to 35 mm. Similar to that, you can convert this 32 centimeter into 1.6 centimeter. So you can write this 1.6 centimeter into 16 mm. So what is the roof? The shortest portion over the roof is 32 centimeter. So the roof dimension is 16 mm, and the diameter of the chimney is 35 mm. So you can create this diagram with this dimension. So you don't have to worry about the angle. So you can keep as it is. So only the linear and lateral dimensions. Okay. Yeah. So I think இதெல்லாம் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணியிருப்பாருன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So the rest procedure is that you have to create this section plane. So the section plane should touches this particular corner. So it is available in the problem itself, I think so. The vertical chimney of 70 centimeter diameter joins a roof sloping 35 degree with the horizontal. So the angle of this particular section line is that 35 degree. The shortest portion over the roof is 32 centimeter. I think the dimension is not available. That means in the center point எங்க cross ஆகுதுங்கிற dimension available இல்லை. So instead of that, here we are having the different condition that is called the shortest portion over the roof is 32 centimeter. So this is the shortest portion and this one is the longest portion. So this particular dimension is 32 centimeter. So we have converted this 32 centimeter into 16 mm. Okay. So in our scale ratio, we have reduced this dimension. So that is 16 mm. So you can mark, initially you can mark this particular point with a dimension of 16 mm from the top. Okay, so from the roof. So that is called, that is what mentioned here. From the roof. So this dimension is 16 mm. Then you can create this particular line with an angle of 35 degree. So இது இங்கே டச் ஆகணும் அப்படிங்கிறது கம்பல்சரி கிடையாது. ஸோ இதுக்கு பதிலாக நம்ம இன்னைக்கு என்ன கொடுத்துருக்காங்கன்னா இந்த ரூஃப் டைமென்ஷன் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸோ நெக்ஸ்ட் யூ கேன் ஃபாலோ யுவர் procedure. Okay, so the procedure is that you have to create a rectangle with different sections. So we have here we have divided this into 8 divisions. So you have to divide this rectangle into 8 subdivisions. So what is the length of this particular rectangle? So the formula is that pi into d. Okay, the value of pi is 3.14 and d is 35. So the length of this particular rectangle is that 109.9 mm. So it is approximately equal to 110 mm. Okay, so you can divide this 109.9 with the 8 portions. Okay, so you'll be getting a dimension of I think it is 12 or 13 something, 13 mm. So you can create this particular pore gap with the particular dimension. Okay, so that is what the procedure. Then finally you have to create all cutting points. Then you have to join these cutting points with the freehand curve. So please remember that it is a cylinder. So since it is a cylinder, you have to join all the cutting points with a freehand curve. You don't have to use your scale, and also with that you should not create a line. Okay, so it should be a smooth curve. அதில் வந்து கார்னர்ஸ் வரக்கூடாது. ஸ்டில் நீங்கள் நிறைய பேர் இந்த மிஸ்டேக் பண்ணிகிட்டே இருக்கீங்க. Okay, so please remember that there should not be a sharp corner on this curve. Clear? So this is our final problem, and also with that I think you have discussed about pentagonal prism. So that is a normal diagram. Okay, but the condition for your previous problem for pentagonal prism, the condition was that it was a little bit different. So what is our condition? The rectangular plane, I think adana rectangular plane is far away from VP. So nearer to VP, far away from VP. So there were two conditions. Nearer to VP na in the diagram use pannirukonu, because this one is the rectangular plane or else the edge of a base. Okay, so இந்த மாதிரி ட்ரா பண்ணீங்கன்னா it is nearer to VP. So இந்த diagram ட்ரா பண்ணீங்கன்னா it is far away from VP. இது வேற ப்ராப்ளம். So it is a pentagonal pyramid. So உங்களுக்கு புரியறதுக்காக சொன்னேன். Because this one is VP, right? This particular line is reference line. We can call it as XY or else HP or else VP. Okay, so இதுக்கு far away from இருக்கணும். So நியராக இப்போ எங்கே இருக்கு? கர்வ் இருக்கு, சாரி கார்னர் இருக்கு, எட்ஜ் வந்து ஃபார் அவே தள்ளி இருக்கு. இந்த இட டயக்ராமில் எட்ஜ் நியராக இருக்கு, கார்னர் ஃபார் அவே இருக்கு. ஸோ திஸ் ஒன் இஸ் எட்ஜ் pentagon. Okay, so now I'm moving to my session. Pentagonal pyramid, side of base 30 mm and height 52 mm. Okay, stands with its base on HP. So the base is on HP. So you'll be having the shape, particularly pentagonal shape, on the top view because the base is on HP. Okay, and an edge of the base is parallel to VP. So the condition is that, so இதுக்கு முன்னாடி அப்படியே தான் இருந்துச்சு. The pentagonal base ஓட ஒரு edge parallel to VP. So this particular edge should be parallel to VP. So if this condition follows, it is perpendicular to VP. So this one is VP. So it is perpendicular. So here it is parallel and here also it is parallel. So next look at this condition and nearer to it. Base edge is parallel to VP and nearer to it. In your previous problem, you have discussed about far away from VP. So you have used this. So here you have to use this diagram because the edge is nearer to VP. So look at this, nearer to it. Okay. So இங்க இட்டுன்னு முடிச்சிட்டாங்க, but you have to look at your previous condition. It was VP. So you can use this diagram. Okay. And it is cut by a plane perpendicular to VP. If it is perpendicular to VP, you'll be having an angle in HP. So that is inclined at 40 degree to HP and passing through a point on the axis 35 mm above the base. So here we have directly got the dimension. So we have the angle and also we have the dimension from the base. So you can pick a point exactly that is above 32 mm from the base. Okay, then draw the sectional top view. So it is very very important, you have to draw the sectional top view also. Then you have to create the lateral surface of the truncated pyramid. If you are having an section plane with an angle, you will be getting only truncated diagram. Okay, so as usual you have to create a reference line with a name of x and y. Then you have to create your top view. So the condition is that top view should be your shape and also a particular edge should be parallel to the VP. So it is VP, so it is parallel, and also with that it should be nearer to VP. Okay, so this one is nearer. So in some problems you'll be getting a dimension also. So particular edge should be parallel to VP and 10 mm far away from the VP. So this particular gap should be created with a dimension of 10 mm. சில ப்ராப்ளம்ல அப்படியும் வரும். Okay, then you can create your front view. So before that, please create the slant edges. So locate the point O, then connect all the corners with the point O because it is a pyramid. So you have to highlight all the slant edge also. So that நம்ம flash stop பண்ணிக்கலாம் because here we are having the section plane. So section plane வரும்போது some portion will be removed. So please don't highlight the slant edges initially. So you can create this pyramid with O dash. Then you can mark all the base points with the same notations. So here the edge D to E is not visible. Okay, so the edge D to E is not visible. So you can mark D and E within bracket. So this particular edge. So most of you did this mistake in your CAT exam. So what was that? So here there will be an axis. So this one is the axis, right? So axisக்கு மேல ஒரு straight line வந்துச்சுன்னா you have to mark the straight line first. Okay, so I'm going to show you the condition. ஏன்னா நிறைய பேர் மிஸ்டேக் பண்றீங்க. So this one is the axis. So horizontal axis. This particular line will be called as dotted line or else hidden line. So we are going to use this hidden line for marking hidden slant edges or else longer edges. So here we have to create only hidden lines like this because this particular slant edge will not be visible. And after that a straight line. Okay, so we are having three kind of lines, and next one is that section line. So it is different, similar like center line, a longer line, a shorter line, longer line, shorter line, longer line, and again shorter line, and again longer line. So it is similar like center line, but at the end you have to mark a rectangle with a fully shaded. So this particular smaller, it is a very smaller thing. That means you have to highlight the end like this. So this particular line will be called it as section line. So இந்த மாதிரி யாருமே create பண்ணல. Okay. So the condition is that if a straight line comes over this center line, you have to create only this straight line. Similar to that, if a straight line comes over this hidden line, then you have to create the straight line. Okay, center line க்கு மேல hidden line வந்தாலும் சரி, straight line வந்தாலும் சரி, நீ அந்த பர்டிகுலர் hidden லைனோ இல்ல straight லைனோ தான் கிரியேட் பண்ணணும். சென்டர் லைன் ட்ரா பண்ணணுங்கிற அவசியம் இல்லை. So look at this. Here we are having point O, and also similar to that, the same direction is having a slant edge called B2O. So then you have to create B2O. You don't have to mention the center line. So இதுக்காகவே more than 47 out of 50க்கு more than 47 யாரெல்லாம் எடுத்தீங்களோ எல்லாருமே இந்த மிஸ்டேக் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. So please look at your CAT 2 drawing sheet. நான் அதில் மார்க் பண்ணி காமிச்சிருக்கேன். எத்தனை பேர் பார்த்தீங்கன்னு தெரியல. Okay. So you have to give first preference to this straight line. Then you have to give second preference to this hidden line. And finally, you have to create the third preference to the center line. Center line க்கு மேல எந்த லைனுமே வரலைனா தான் நீ center line create பண்ணணும். Center line க்கு மேல dotted line வந்தாலும் நீ dotted line தான் create பண்ணணும். Center line க்கு மேல straight line வந்தா straight line தான் create பண்ணணும். Dotted line க்கு மேல straight line வந்தா நீ straight line தான் create பண்ணணும். Clear? Is it okay? Okay. So then I move on to the next condition. So that is called you have to create the section plane with a dimension of 32 mm from the base. So you can mark a point exactly at 32 mm. So here, so this one is okay. So this one is 32 mm from the base. Then you can create a section plane with an angle of 40 degree. This one is a section plane with an angle of 40 degree. So here you can remove the top portion. Okay, so you can remove the top portion. Then you can create dark lines. So look at this. Look at this vertical line. So it is a thick line because it is a slant edge of B2O. Okay, you have to create a thick line. Okay, so then you can project all the cutting points towards your top view. You can mark the necessary points. So it is similar like our previous unit. It is called third unit. Okay, it is not important for this development of surface. உங்களுக்கு already தெரியும். You can create a section line in between this particular closed profile. Then the rest edges should be highlighted. Okay, the rest edges should be highlighted. Is it okay? Is there any doubt? Do you have any doubts? Okay, Gana. So after doing this, you have to create a development. So the condition for creating the development is that you have to measure the length of slant edge. Particularly, that slant edge should be a horizontal line in the top view. Okay. So the particular slant edge should be a horizontal line in the top view. So please look at this. There is no horizontal line in our top view. So this one is a slant edge, and this one is a slant edge, and this one, and this one, and this one. So here we are having 5 slant edges. Particularly, there is no slant edge in the direction of horizontal. Okay, so that means you have to create a imaginary horizontal line from O. Okay, imaginary horizontal line from point O. Then you can measure the distance of O to A. Okay, so then you can create an arc from this point. Okay, so like this, you have to create a arc. So that projection can be marked as A1. So look at here. So it is A1. You can measure the distance of O to A, then you can create an arc up to this horizontal, imaginary horizontal line. So please don't highlight this line. It is not a component line. Okay, you can create this line with a 2H pencil. Okay, so up to this, you can create an arc. After this, you can create a vertical line. Okay, up to your reference line. Okay, up to your reference line. So that particular point can be marked as A1 dash. Now you can measure the distance of O dash and A1 dash. That is the exact dimension of your slant edge. Okay, that is the exact dimension of your slant edge. So you can measure the distance of O dash to A1 dash with your compass. If it is needed, you can create a line. That is not a problem. If it is needed, you can create a line. Okay, you can measure that particular distance. Then you can select any point. Okay, in the free space, you can select any point. That point can be marked as O. So it is a capital O. Okay, then you can create any line with, for example, you can create a vertical line, or else you can create a horizontal line, or else you can create a inclined line. That is your own choice. So here I have created a inclined line. So there is no dimension that particularly call it as, there is no angle for this inclined line. So the length of this line is that equal to O dash to A1 dash. In the dimension தான் இங்க நீ mark பண்ணணும். Then you can take your compass, you can place your compass exactly at O, then you can create an arc with this dimension like this. You can create an arc. So the center point is O. Okay, then what is the procedure? You have to look at the dimension of your base edge. So the dimension of your base edge is 30. Okay, so how many sides? For a pentagon, you will be having 5 sides. That means you have to create 5 arcs from A. So you can place your compass X now at this place. Then you can create an arc with a dimension of 30 mm. Again, you can create an arc again and again. So like you have to create a normally 5 arcs with a dimension of 30 mm like this. So you'll be having 5 corners. So A, B, C, D, E. Final point is that A. Because the starting point and ending point should be same. So the final point notation is A. Okay. So now you got 5 corners. B, C, D, E, A. You can join these corners with your apex point. Okay. You can join all the corners with your apex. Now you got all the 5 triangular faces. So look at this. Here you are having 5 triangular faces. So this one is a triangle face, this one is a triangle face, and this one is a triangle face, and this one, this one. If it is a pentagonal pyramid, you will be having 5 triangular faces. If it is a hexagonal pyramid, you will be having 6 triangular faces. Then you can join this point A with B, and B with C, C with D, and D to E, E to A. Like this. Okay. Is it okay? Any doubts? Okay. So after doing this, you can measure the distance of all the cutting points, because you will be having 5 cutting points in your front view. So here you are having 5 cutting points. Okay. So this 5 cutting points should not be measured directly. டைரக்டா மெஷர் பண்றதுக்கு பதிலா நீ என்ன பண்ணலாம்னா, you can project all the cutting points with the slant edge. இங்க நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிருக்காங்கன்னா டைரக்டா கட் பண்ண மாதிரி காமிச்சிருக்காங்க. So instead of this, you can measure, you can project all the cutting points towards the imaginary slant edge. So this one is an imaginary slant edge, right? So you can project this point 1 towards this imaginary slant edge. Similar to that, 5 should be projected to this slant edge, and 2 should be projected to this slant edge, and 4 should be projected, and 3 should be projected. Okay, அதுதான் எக்ஸாக்ட் டைமென்ஷன். யூ கேன் டைரக்ட்லி மெஷர் பண்ணாலும் ஒரு ஸ்லைட் டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் வரும். Okay, so the actual procedure is that you have to project all the cutting points towards this imaginary slant edge. Then you can measure that particular distance. Okay, so here point number 1 is available exactly at O2A. So you can measure this O dash to 1 dash with your compass. Then you can create one at here, similar to that one at here. So there will be 2 ones because you are having 2 lines with the name of O2A. Okay, so then you can measure point number 2. So point number 2 is available exactly at O2B. So you can measure this distance, then you can create this point. Similar to that, point number 3 is available O2C. So you can mark third point at O2C. Then fourth point, O2D. So you can mark that particular point on O2D. But here. Okay. Then finally, point number 5. So point number 5 is available on O2E. So here you can mark the point number 5. Okay. So after doing that, you can finally create point number 1. Then you can join all these points with a straight line because it is a pentagonal pyramid. It is not a cone, so you can join all these points with a straight line like this. Okay, and also with that, the top, that means you have removed this top portion, so the bottom portion remains as it is. So you have to join this particular slant edge with a dark line. Okay, this is our final diagram. Is it clear? Any doubts? Okay, Gana. I think there is no doubt. Then I will move on to the next diagram. So I think the PPT has been completed. So the next diagram is based on video presentation. I'm going to play this particular video. About prism pyramids. Okay, so I'm going to play this video. It is a square pyramid. Okay, so the square pyramid of base 35 mm and axis 70 mm long rest on its base on HP such that two adjacent sides of the base are equally inclined to VP. So the condition is that the base is on HP, so you're having your square on the top view, and such that the two adjacent sides of the base are not normal straight square, so it should be a inclined square. So the inclination is equal inclination. So you have to create a 45-degree inclination. If it is an equal inclination, you have to create an inclined angle with an angle of 45 degree. So it is cut by a section plane perpendicular to VP. So you'll be having the angle in the HP, that is 30 degree to HP, passing through the midpoint of the axis. So here there is no dimension. You can directly pick a point exactly at middle portion. So middle of your axis, so midpoint of your axis. So then draw the sectional top view and develop the lateral surface of the truncated pyramid. So lateral surface now you don't have to create the base. Okay, so you can create a square. So equal inclination. So the angle should be 45 degree. So this angle or else this angle. It should be 45. So the base side is 35 mm. So you can mark all the 4 points. If it is a pyramid, you can create a apex point and also you can join all the corners with your apex. Okay, then you can project all the points towards reference line. Okay, so after creating that reference line, so after creating the projection lines, then you can start working on your front view. Okay, so like this, the axis of your front view is 70 mm. So you can create all the slant edges. The condition is for section plane is that it should passes through the midpoint. So what is the dimension? It should be 35 mm. So you are having a distance of 70 mm. So you can pick a point exactly at 35 mm. Then the angle is 40 degree, I think so. So 30 degree. So 30 degree to HP. So you can create a 30-degree inclination line. So this one is a section line. So the top portion has been removed. So you can highlight the bottom portion. So this one is the bottom portion. Okay, you can highlight all the bottom portion. Here also there is no axis line because the axis and also B2O is the same line. So you can create only the dark line. Okay, then you can project all the cutting points towards your top view. So there will be a 4 cutting points. So point number 1 is available on O to A. So you can connect this. Then this particular point should be created with a different dimension. Like you have to create a horizontal line first. Then you can create a vertical line. So after that you can create 2 arcs. Okay, this one is point number 2 and this one is point number 4. So this one is point number 2. Okay, and the rest point is that point number 3. It is available on O2C. So you can project up to O2C. This one is point number 3. Similar to that, here point number 4 is a hidden point. So you can mark this point number 4 within bracket. So here you can create another one more arc towards upside direction. That means O2D. You can project up to O2D. So that one is point number 4. Now you can join all these 4 corners, 4 cutting points with a straight line because it is a pyramid. So 1 to 2 should be joined and 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. After doing this, you can create the section line in between this particular profile and the rest line should be highlighted. Okay, the rest lines should be highlighted. Okay, so now we got the sectional top view. So what is our next procedure? We have to measure the length of slantage, actual length of slantage. So for that, we have to measure, we have to look at that whether we are having a horizontal line from point O. So now we are having 2 horizontal lines. One is O to A and another one is O to C. So we are having 2 slant edges exactly at horizontal position. So you don't have to create the imaginary slant edge. So instead of this, you can directly measure this point O dash to C dash. Actually, this one is normal slantage because it is a horizontal line. Here also it is a horizontal line, or else you can measure O dash to A dash. So in this problem, you don't have to worry about the imaginary slantage. So it is this condition is common for all the pyramids. Okay, this condition is common for all the pyramids. If we are having a slant edge exactly at horizontal, then you can measure that particular slant edge. அது இல்லை அப்படின்னா தான் நீங்கள் இமேஜினரி slant edge create பண்ணணும். So in this problem, there is no condition for that. You can directly measure point O dash to C dash or else point O dash to A dash. So after that, you can pick a point on the rest space with the point number O. Then you can create initial line. The starting line, அது வந்து நீ எங்கே வேணாலும் கிரியேட் பண்ணலாம், எந்த ஆங்கிள் வேணாலும் பண்ணலாம். Either it can be a horizontal line or else it can be a vertical line or else it can be a inclined line. So that is your own choice. Okay, so now the first line has been created and also the arc has been created. So what is our condition? Here we have to create 4 arcs because it is a 4-side solid. So you can measure this side value, that is 35. So initially you can create first arc, then you can create second arc, then third one, and finally fourth one. Okay. So you can mark the notations. The starting point is A and the ending point also should be A. Now you can join all the uh, points with apex. So like this. So B2O, C2O, D2O, and A2O. ஸோ அந்த ப்ரொஜெக்ஷன் லைன்ஸ் எல்லாமே நீங்கள் delete பண்ணிடுங்கப்பா, அதாவது எரேஸ் பண்ணிடுங்க. ஸோ லைக் திஸ். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரிலாம் உனக்கு லைன்ஸ் தேவையில்லை, இதெல்லாம் எரேஸ் பண்ணிடுங்க. அப்போ தான் உங்கள் டயக்ராம் பார்க்குறதுக்கு நீட்டாக இருக்கும். ஸோ கம்பல்சரி உன் டயக்ராம் நீட்டாக இருந்துச்சுன்னா உனக்கு ஃபுல் மார்க் அவார்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு யோசிக்கவே மாட்டாங்க. டயக்ராம் நீட்டாக இல்லை அப்படிங்கும்போது தான் உனக்கு மார்க் ரெடியூஸ் ஆகும். ஓகே. So what is our next condition? We have to mark all the cutting points. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. So one is available on O to A. So this one O to A. So you can mark 1 at here with measuring this O dash to 1 dash. So you can measure this O dash to 1 dash and you can place your composite O. Then you can create an arc. So that particular notation should be marked 1. Okay, so here it is. So you can mark this as 1. Similar to that, you can measure O to 2. So directly measure பண்ணாதீங்க, இந்த பாயிண்ட்ல மெஷர் பண்ணக்கூடாது. Instead of that, you can measure, you can project this 2 at here because it is a actual slantage. This one is not an actual slantage. இதை மெஷர் பண்ணீங்கன்னா அதோட டிஸ்டன்ஸ் 70 தான் வரும். ஓகே, இந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறத நீ என்ன பண்ணணும்? You have to project up to actual slantage. So at here. So then you can measure the distance of O dash to at this point. Okay, இந்த பாயிண்ட் வரைக்கும் மெஷர் பண்ணுங்க. So you can mark point number 2 and also you can mark point number 4. So 2 should be marked on O to B and 4 should be marked on O to D. Okay, so 2, 4 ரெண்டுக்குமே ஒரே மெஷர்மெண்ட் தான். So you can directly mark 2 and 4. So 2 at O to B and 4 at O to D. So before that, you can mark O dash to 3 dash. So this one can be directly measured. O dash to 3 dash can be directly measured and you can mark it here. Okay. So what is our next condition? You have to join all the cutting points. So since it is a square pyramid, you don't have to worry about the freehand arc. You can directly join all the points with a straight line. So this one is 3. So now you can join 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 1. So before that, இதை நிறைய பேர் மறந்துடுவீங்க கண்ணா. கம்பல்சரி டயக்ராம் போடும்போது மறந்துடுவீங்க, இமிடியேட்டாக கிரியேட் பண்ணிடுங்க. So the base edges should be joined with a straight line. And also, please don't forget to join these slant edges. Okay, only the top portion has been removed. அப்போ பாட்டமில் வர எல்லாமே என்ன பண்ணணும்? ஹைலைட் பண்ணணும். Is it clear? Since it is a lateral surface, development of lateral surface, you don't have to worry about the creation of the base edge. Base profile. அந்த ஸ்கொயர் நம்ம கிரியேட் பண்ணணுங்கிற அவசியம் இல்லை. ஓகே, ஸோ தேவையில்லாத டயக்ராம்ஸுக்கு டைம் வேஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காதீங்க. உங்களுக்கு எக்ஸாம்ஸில் நீங்கள் டைம் ரொம்ப தேவைப்படுது, அதாவது கேட் எக்ஸாமுக்கு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா டைம் கொடுக்க முடியுமான்னு கேட்குறீங்க. இட் இஸ் நாட் பாசிபிள். ஸோ அதனால் வந்துட்டு கொஞ்சம் கேர்ஃபுல்லாக டயக்ராமுக்கு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா டைம் கொடுக்குற மாதிரி இல்லாமல் பார்த்துக்குங்க. ஓகே, தட்ஸ் ஆல் அபவுட் டுடே செஷன். இஸ் தேர் எனி டவுட்?
எப்படிங்க சார் இந்த பேஸ் போடணும்?
டெவலப்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் சர்ஃபேஸ் அப்படிங்கிற ஹெட்டிங் வரும்போது, ஸோ லுக் அட் ஹியர். Here we have to create sectional top view and development of lateral surface na நீ கீழே அந்த ப்ரொஃபைல் கிரியேட் பண்ணணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை. If it is development of surface, simply development of surface. Lateral அப்படின்னா என்ன மீனிங்னா அந்த சைடில் வர சர்ஃபேசஸ், இது எல்லாமே சைடில் வர சர்ஃபேஸ். Development of surface na base is also a surface. மொட்டையாக கொடுத்துருக்காங்க டெவலப்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் சர்ஃபேஸ். அப்படிங்கும்போது base is also a surface, and also with that, if it is a prism, the top that means the top face is also a surface. அப்போ நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும், அங்கே டாப் ஃபேஸும் கிரியேட் பண்ணணும். ஓகே, ப்ரிசம்னா டாப் அண்ட் பாட்டம் வரும், பிரமிட்னா பாட்டம் மட்டும் இருக்கும். டெவலப்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் சர்ஃபேஸ் அப்படிங்கிற வேர்டு வந்துச்சுன்னா யூ ஹாவ் டு கிரியேட் த டாப் surface and also you have to create the bottom surface. If it is development of lateral surface, you don't have to worry about top and bottom bases. அதுக்கு in between வர surfaces மட்டும் create பண்ணா போதும். Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's all about today. Any doubts? Do you have any doubts? ஓகே, நான் உங்களோட 5th tutorial இதுவரை நான் கரெக்ட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிக்கல, பிகாஸ் நான் கொஞ்சம் பிஸியாக இருந்தேன், கொஞ்சம் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல்லாம் போக வேண்டியிருந்தது. ஸோ அதனால் இந்த வீக்குக்குள்ளே எப்படியாவது கரெக்ஷன் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணுறேன். ஓகே, 5th tutorial. ஏன்னா இது வரைக்கும் நான் tutorial முடிஞ்ச உடனே இமீடியட்டாக உங்களுக்கு ரிட்டர்ன் பண்ணிடுவேன். இந்த டைம் மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் டிலே ஆயிடுச்சு. ஸோ இந்த வீக்குக்குள்ளே நான் எப்படியாவது ரிட்டர்ன் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணுறேன். ஓகே, ஸோ கிளாஸ் ஒர்க் ரெகுலராக சப்மிட் பண்ணிக்கிட்டே இருங்க. ஸோ டுடே யூ வில் பி ஹேவிங் அ கிளாஸ் ஒர்க். So in that class work you have to draw 2 problems இன்னைக்கு டீச் பண்ணது. So first one is pentagonal pyramid, second one is square pyramid. So only 2 problems. Okay Gana, so if you're having any doubts you can ask me, or else you can leave this meet.